Meet the miniature people of Germany and take a terrifying ride with an anti-terrorist chauffeur on You Asked For It. Tonight at 7:30 on Channel 32.
From Metro Golden Memories on West Irving Park. Hi, and welcome to tonight's PM Magazine. I'm JoAnn Williams.
And I'm Mike Leiderman. We'll have lots of memories for you tonight.
Michael, do you remember Fibber McGee and Molly?
Well, we're going back some, aren't we?
We are. We are going to meet Chicago's Nostalgia King. He's Chuck Schaden, and we'll journey back in time to relive the golden age of radio.
And then we'll learn how to buy almost anything without money as we visit a swap co-op. Also tonight, Linda Harris travels to a colorful town in France that has centuries of tradition, and Chef Tell has a money-saving idea. Right now, let's join JoAnn by the old Philco.
When I was a little girl, the living room was called the front parlor, and we didn't have a television set. We had a radio, pretty much like this one. Now, the highlight of the evening would be to go in and sit down and listen to Amos and Andy, The Days of Helen Trent, or The Shadow. And tonight, we thought we would take you back in time. So sit down as we go along with Chicago's Chuck Schaden. We're going to relive the great days of radio. Chuck Schaden's your average mild-mannered bank officer, concerning himself with loan applications and corporate finances.
$2,000 away a year.
But this bank vice president has another interest.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
Andy, listen, the man is just about to say it.
Yeah, let's everybody listen. Rinso, the new Rinso with Solium, brings you the Amos and Andy Show. The makers of Instant Chase and Sanborn Coffee present the Charlie McCarthy Show.
Hello out there in Radio Land. We invite you to reminisce for a while this afternoon as we present Those Were the Days. Brought to you.
Chuck's also a radio historian, a man of memories. He's an authority on a piece of the past we've almost forgotten about.
This is Chuck Schaden with another in our series of programs designed to bridge the sound gap between yesterday and today. When I was a kid, I listened to the radio shows. I grew up listening to them, and we didn't have television at that time, and I loved it. I loved listening to the radio programs. And then television came in on the scene, and I loved television. So after a few years of television, I was seeking to visit with my old radio friends, and I turned on the radio, and they were all gone. The programs were no longer there because I had deserted them, the sponsors had deserted them, and the networks had deserted them. So I missed that audio entertainment. I missed using my imagination.
Chuck resigned himself to the fact that the friends he had grown up with on the radio had vanished. Then, an Army buddy found a transcription of old radio shows and asked if he was interested.
Ooh, am I? I sure was interested. He started sending me a few tapes back of some of those programs which he transcribed from those Armed Forces discs.
Since then, Chuck's collected more than 40,000 broadcasts from the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, one of the largest libraries of radio known.
Chuck Schaden. Hi. Sure, I can always try to answer a trivia question. I've had a lot of trivia questions. People ask all kinds of things. One of the most unusual questions is who starred as Riley in The Life of Riley on television. Most people say it was William Bendix. Really wasn't William Bendix as the first Riley on television.
Do you know who played the first Riley on television? We'll give you that answer a bit later. Besides his weekly radio program and publishing his nostalgia newsletter, Chuck runs the Metro Golden Memory Shop on Chicago's Northwest Side. Here you'll find a treasure chest of collectibles from radio's golden age, as well as early movie, big band, and TV nostalgia. You'll also find a nice selection of radios made before anyone had even heard of transistors.
These are some terrific radios from the 1930s. These three here all happen to be Philco radios. And this is an Art Deco style. And you can tell from the, this would be on the dressing table of Ginger Rogers. And this radio is from 1934, and it is the epitome of the old-time radio. Another Philco radio, this one from the 1930s, is lovingly called a Tombstone-style radio. You walk up to one of these radios and you really would like to hear one of the old shows. It would be more than, you need to hear that. If you just turn it on, you might be able to hear one.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly.
Around, around she goes, and where she stops, nobody knows.
Now, everybody ready for Occidental's own Ma Perkins, America's Mother of the Air. Brought to you by...
Lucky Strike presents Your Hit Parade, starring Frank Sinatra.
Hello, Silver!
The late 1940s and early 50s saw the rise of something called television. With it came the decline of the great radio shows. But some radio stars were able to make the transition to TV.
Jack Benny was on vaudeville. Jack Benny was in the movies, so he made an easy transition to television. Bing Crosby was a much stronger personality than just a radio personality. He was in the movies.
Calling all stations. Clear the air lanes, clear all air lanes for the big broadcast.
Where the blue of the night meets the gold of the day, someone waits for me.
Fred Allen, a tremendously successful comedian on radio, just couldn't find a niche for himself on TV.
Where are my pants? Benny, for 15 years I've been waiting to catch you like
Alan,
this.
you haven't seen the end of me.
It won't be long now.
I want my pants.
But was television really an improved form of entertainment? Wasn't something missing?
The essential ingredient of radio was contributed by the listener, the imagination. You supplied the scenery, you decorated the sets, you costumed the actors. That was the essential ingredient.
Wait a minute, Chuck. You didn't tell us who the first Life of Riley star was.
The first actor to play Chester Riley on the TV series The Life of Riley was Jackie Gleason.
Chuck Schaden,
During a broadcast,
a man making sure we don't forget the golden age of radio.
And it's really nice to be able to hear people come up and say, that was a terrific shadow broadcast. I love it, it was super. Or, I love this other program, it was just great. Do it some more. When are you going to do it again? I love it. Keep up the good work. Well, that's really all you need. I love being the interlocutor from yesterday to today. Those were the days.
Listening to all those old radio shows really brought back some good memories. Stay right there. Next, Linda Harris takes us to France.